keeping secrets to different bills. At Uncle Demi, you need it, I got it listed here. You wanna make it, I'll show you just how to make it here. I got all the rarest bills, and I ain't done yet. Went from defenders to making bills like a prospect. Flow space and slashes to catching us with a lot of threat. You keep the medals cause the real one's coming up next. Only scratch the surface, still they try to drag.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is your man, Uncle Demi, and today I have another special banger for you. Now, before we get into this video, you know what you need to do, man. You need to go ahead and drop this like, man. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you haven't subbed up to the channel, please go ahead and sub to the channel, man. Come on and join the family. I'm always looking to add some more nephews and nieces to the family reunion. It'll be greatly appreciated. Now, let's go ahead and hop into the video. Of course, we're talking about my man, Wilt Chamberlain. Now, a lot of people like to call him Wilt the Stilt, but believe it or not, he prefers to be called the Big Dipper. And the Big Dipper is what my father called him. And I'm not sure where Wilt the Stilt, I didn't get too deep into it, but I know Wilt the Stilt was a nickname that he got, but actually Wilt Chamberlain himself preferred the Big Dipper. And I did a little research, and the reason why he got the name the Big Dipper is because when he was in school, he used to have to dip his head under every single doorway to walk in, and it really stuck with him, and he liked that name. So we're going to go ahead and call him the Big Dipper. And furthermore, Wilt Chamberlain, to me personally, is the greatest center to ever play this game. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is the most athletic, probably the most athletic player to ever play the game. I mean, the list goes on and on. If you just read up on Wilt Chamberlain, it is probably going to be one of the most enjoyable, jaw-dropping type of stories that you will hear. I mean, he literally, as a teenager, played professional basketball, and he dominated the league, averaging over 40 points a game, and he was 16 years old. He actually had to go under a name called George Marcus, and there was a huge, conspiracy and a lot of stories and legends. It's like urban folklore, I guess you can say, when it comes to that, but it came out to be true. Like, he literally was playing against grown men, dominating them in the semi-pro leagues. Obviously, he had to keep that under wraps because he was an amateur and he wanted to continue to play basketball. He was the greatest athlete, like I said, was because the fact is that he literally went on to college and he was a standout track player. Now, keep in mind, he's 7'1", right? And he ran the 100 meters in under 11 seconds. At a 7-footer, right? He set the record for the long jump, the triple jumps. He there was the discus. He still has a record for the discus at Kansas. So it just lets you know how athletically gifted he was, right? And obviously I gotta return to main menu update, but we're just gonna keep on going through that. So anyway, Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest center to ever play. He's the most athletic center to ever play. And of course, you put him into the NBA, and you get some of the most astronomical. When I say astronomical, it's not an understatement. Anybody that knows basketball knows that anytime you break a record that has Wilt Chamberlain name on it, that means you have done one of the most ridiculously greatest feats of all time, because that's what Wilt Chamberlain did. There was no record that you can look at and say, oh yeah, that's just weird. That's easy, or that's whatever you want to put attached to it. Anything that has Wilt Chamberlain attached to it, there's always going to be a massive gap between second place, right? And just keep in mind, when Wilt Chamberlain retired, he was an all-time leading scorer, right? Of course, that's been surpassed. But a lot of people don't understand that if Wilt Chamberlain wanted to be the all-time leading scorer and scored 50,000 points for his career, he could have done that. And a lot of people, if they don't know the backstory, is that Wilt Chamberlain, after the season where he averaged 50 points a game for an entire season, do you understand what I'm saying? 50 points a game. And also, he averaged 25 rebounds a game during that season, right? He decided, he was going to pass more, so he decided to lead the league in assists because he was tired of everybody saying that all he does is shoot. He said, listen, I can do more than that. So then he turns around and he leads the league in assists. He's the only center ever to lead the league in assists, and he did that just off of pure greatness and saying, you know what, listen, If you don't want me to shoot, fine. I'll pass the ball, and then we'll find a way to still win. And that's exactly what he did. So just to keep that in perspective, right? Some of the records. Again, he has 72 NBA records. These are talking about the greatest athletes to ever step foot on a basketball court, and he holds 72 records. There is no one even close to that, right? But there's some records that stand out to me, and I was just like, are you really serious? Check this out. So, as we all know, there's 48 minutes in a game, right? Wilt Chamberlain averaged 48.5 minutes a game played. So that means not only did he play every bit of the game, I guess he played a lot of overtime games. So he actually averaged 48.5 minutes a game. That is the record for obviously the average time played in a game per game. He has that record. I think that's pretty dope. He actually plays more than regulation. He plays more than 48 minutes a game. Obviously, I talked about how he led the league in assists. Obviously, he's still to this day the all-time leading rebounder. I mean, 25 rebounds a game is ridiculous, right? He had 55 rebounds in one game. That's a record that still stands today, right? But something that's even crazier is that obviously, he scored 100 points in a basketball game. We know about that. I think that's like the record that everybody knows about. But check this one out. He has scored 60 points in a game 32 times. Let that marinate a little bit. He has scored 60 or more points in a game 32 times. You know who's in second place? It's my man Kobe Bryant. You know how many Kobe Bryant has? The second place? 6. That's it. 6. I mean, like, it can go on and on. They had to change the league because of him. They had to widen the paint, right? They was like, listen, we have to widen the paint because he was too dominant. And since the paint was too small and he was already too close to the basket, they had to widen the paint, right? They had to implement offensive interference, right? Because he would literally shoot the ball up, and if it was still over the rim or touch the rim, he would just knock it right back in. There was no one else that could do anything about that, right? They had to change the free throws, the rules for free throw shooting. They also had to change inbounding and how you inbounded the ball because Chamberlain was just too tall and dominant, and people had a hard time getting the ball inbound. So that's why they had to implement the 3 feet. You had to give people 3 feet to be able to get the ball in because Wilt Chamberlain would smother them with his long wingspan and height. They couldn't even get the ball in. So I mean, like, yeah, I can go on and on about how dominant he is and why he's the greatest center to ever play. I think a lot of people just sleep on the fact that obviously he averaged 30.1 points a game. He's tied with Michael Jordan with 30.1 points a game. But to average 30 points a game for your whole career, you can see what someone like James Harden has done, right? I think, he's on pace right now. I think he's averaging like 37 a game. And, you know, these people are averaging crazy numbers per game right now as fast paced as this league is. And even now, James Harden will still not average 30 points a game. He could literally, for the next 6 years, you know, average 35 a game. He won't even hit close. Why? Because, of course, the beginning part of his career was so low. But even then, let's just not get out of the point, since everybody's always huge on offense. And this is my last point, is the fact is that he literally stopped shooting. Understand that. If Wilt Chamberlain continued to shoot the ball after his 50, because he averaged 50 a game, and they lost an NBA championship. So then he just reinvented himself, right? From being the most dominant scorer of all time to becoming the best passer of all time. He led the league in assists, right? He averaged 8.6 assists a game. So understand, if Wilt Chamberlain wanted to average 50 points a game for his whole entire career, he could have. So let's not get it twisted about anybody saying who's the best prolific scorer of all time. It's Wilt Chamberlain. Let's not get it twisted about who's the greatest rebounder of all time. It's Wilt Chamberlain, right? So let's not get it twisted about who's the greatest athlete of all time. It's Wilt Chamberlain. So a lot of people just get it misconstrued about who's the greatest players and centers and that type of stuff, and they always exclude Wilt Chamberlain from Mount Rushmore. But understand this, is that Wilt Chamberlain has 72 records for a reason. And a lot of y'all gonna say, oh, he played in a time where it's this and that. No. Wilt Chamberlain right now was playing in the NBA. He would be putting up the most astronomical numbers that you've ever seen, because he was just that great of an athlete. He was just so much quicker. He was so much faster. He was so much athletic than anybody else on the court that you cannot understand. This 7'1", just look at some of his highlights and how he blocked shots. When he jumped, literally his back was was almost over the rim. Like, you have to understand what type of athlete he was, right? He wasn't great with post moves. He was just so athletically gifted that what you saw with Prime Shaq, just go ahead and times that by 10, because even Prime Shaq had his limitations. He couldn't jump as high as Wilt Chamberlain. He didn't have as long as a wingspan as Wilt Chamberlain. He wasn't as fast as Wilt Chamberlain. He wasn't as quick as Wilt Chamberlain. He was just strong, brute force. And the funny thing is that Wilt Chamberlain himself, you can go and see Wilt Chamberlain bench pressing over 450 pounds. It just lets you know what type of athlete he was. So anyway, I'm gonna digress because I know, I get really kind of emotionally attached to like the fact, yeah, Shaquille O'Neal is my favorite player of all time because I watched him play. I grew up and I idolized that guy. But when it comes to actually the numbers and knowing who the best center is, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just had one of the most unstoppable moves of all time, right? But with the sky hook. But if you're gonna ask me who is the greatest center to ever play, it's Wilt Chamberlain, hands down. Don't at me, all right? Anyway, so I digress. Let's go ahead over here and look at Wilt Chamberlain and what he actually has done. His attributes is done for a 2K. So of course he's a 98 overall, and obviously there's only two 99s in the game, and that's Michael Jordan and LeBron James. So 98 is not a disrespect to Wilt Chamberlain. It's crazy to be 7'1" to have an 85 driving dunk. His standing dunk is 95. Of course, I thought it was pretty dope to have a 70 mid-range shot. And his his hooks, his fades, and his post moves are all in the high 90s. Of course, you're going to see the defense is going to be staggering. Of course, his interior is in 95. His blocks are 96. His offense and defensive rebounds are obviously off the charts. And then when you come over here to his badges, of course, you're going to see everything stacked up here when it comes to the low post playing, because that's just what he was really good at. Hall of Fame drop stepper, relentless finisher, back down punisher, contact, cross key scorer, which again is just something that I just do not see even activated now. I even had that badge activated and I never saw it pop up. So that's still something that's out there. Of course, I think my game just froze. All right, let's try that again. All right, here we go. So then, of course, you have break start and post spin technician. Extremely great passer. A lot of people like to say Kevin Love was really good probably the best outlet passer in the league from the center position or center power forward position. Wilt Chamberlain was really great at that. That helped him out a lot with his assists, especially when he was playing with the Lakers, throwing tons of outlet passes down the floor to some of those great guards that played with him during the time. And then, of course, their defense and rebounding are going to be off the charts. As you can see, all these gold badges. I'm shocked not to see rebound chaser on Hall of Fame. I thought that was kind of weird. When you're the all-time leading rebounder and you've averaged over 25 a game, and you have over 23,000 rebounds for a career, and you don't even have that Hall of Fame. I think Pogo Stick should have been Hall of Fame also. Intimidator should have been Hall of Fame. Chase down should have been Hall of Fame. Brick wall, box out should have been Hall of Fame. But regardless, as you know, Wilt Chamberlain is a freak of nature. He's 7'1", 275, and he's a paint beast. So where we're gonna go in, we're gonna go ahead and try to make Wilt Chamberlain. We're gonna head over to the My Player Builder and get this man built. All right. So let's get right into it. So obviously, Wilt Chamberlain was a center. He was right-handed. He was number 13. All right, and of course, the pie chart that I'm going to use is going to be the defense and finishing pie chart. That's obviously where most of his badge his badges were stacked up at. For here, what I decided to do was go with the balanced. I thought about doing the which would have been crazy, would have been doing the speed and the agility, because obviously he was just so much faster and quicker and athletic. But the 76 strength just was not going to work. And of course, I do want these builds to translate in park. So we're going to go ahead and go with balanced, and just, take a little bit of both, a little bit of speed and vert and acceleration, and then still be able to have that 95 strength. All right. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to make sure that we get all of this maxed out. All of this has to be maxed out. All right. And then we're going to drop this to a 78. All right, we're going to max out the post fade. Then we're going to get his 60 on his pass accuracy, and then we're going to max out his post moves. All right, Then we're going to go ahead and max out the interior defense. All right. Then we're going and also want to max out the blocking, the offensive rebound, and the defensive rebounds. All right. So what that leads us is 22, 1, 6, and 23. Now, if you looked at my other previous build videos, when it came to my paint beast, I obviously lowered my interior defense to be able to get the post scoring takeover. Well, in this instance, and of course that gives you Wilt Chamberlain. But in this instance, I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and keep him out. I don't need the post scoring anymore. For him, he has the post moves. We can do that if we want to. But he was I'm not going to lower the interior defenses to get post scoring takeover. The fact is that we're trying to make Wilt Chamberlain now. So even though I made a Wilt Chamberlain build that would give me the Wilt Chamberlain name with the post scoring takeover, that wasn't truly Wilt Chamberlain, because the fact is that his interior defense is so low, whereas his interior defense on the game in real life is a 95, right? So we're not going to do that. Now, of course, we can't get the 99s here, but we can get close to it. We can get 91, 91, and of course here, well, in fact, let me go ahead and just get him solid before I get into that. So he was obviously, Wilt Chamberlain was a very, he was a tall guy, but he was so athletically, lean and strong that he wasn't even, I think that the best would probably be compact, right? He was 7'1", he was 275, right? And then we're going to max the wingspan all the way out, right? So as you can see, off rip, the post moves is 75, so you can get that to a 79, right? Your post hooks, you can get that to an 82, right? You can also get your offensive, defensive rebounding to a 91. You can get your blocks to a 97, and then your interior defense gets to a 97. That sounds more like Wilt Chamberlain, right? Long wingspan, a long athlete, very athletic. The 49 vert is something that's really, like I said, you can't make a true Wilt Chamberlain, but the fact is that, for his vert to be so low, his speed to be so low, that's something that's a little disheartening. But the strength, I know in 2K as a center, you want to have the strength, as much strength as possible. So we're going to go with that 95 strength, okay? But when it comes to actually making Wilt Chamberlain, this is the best way to do it in the game, because obviously we don't want to be weak down low when you're running with a paint beast, right? Now, Wilt Chamberlain has rim protector and he has glass cleaner. Now, the thing is this, you can be good with both, but you're talking about a man that literally is the all-time rebounds per game and rebounds for a career. So we're going to go ahead and give him the glass cleaning takeover, but you can also go at rim protector if you want to, but I'm going to go with the glass cleaning takeover, okay? All right, and now we still have paint beasts. Now, it's very funny that, Hassan Whiteside and Andre Drummond and Bill Russell are similar to, even though Bill Russell, I think he was like 6'9", 6'10", and obviously I made 7'1", 275. Hassan Whiteside and Andre Drummond, there are good centers. They're just not on the same level as Wilt Chamberlain, but regardless, this is where I'm going to go with for my Wilt Chamberlain build, okay? And then when it comes here, of course, you want to go ahead and make him 99. All right, and then here, this is what we're going to do. All right, we're going to go with contact finisher. We're going to go with back down punisher. We're going to go with drop stepper. We're going to go with post hooks. We're going to go with pro touch. Here, we're going to go consistent finisher, okay? And then, okay, now, this is for the Wilt Chamberlain, all right? I'm just going to get this off back, Wilt Chamberlain. But if you're running threes, obviously things are a lot differently, because as running threes, you don't need to have drop stepper. You don't need the post hooks, right? So for me, what I think would be the best thing, to go ahead and go put back boss on gold, relentless finisher on Hall of Fame. You still want to keep back down punisher. I think that's just a good one to have, just to need it. But if you're someone that says, listen, I'm not doing anything, as most paint beasts, all you're going to do is just set screens, roll to the basket. So that's why I think you want to go ahead and go pick and roller on Hall of Fame, set the screens, roll to the basket. Pick and roll is pretty dope. It says when roll out the roll, a shot boost is applied if the layup or dunk attempt comes within a few seconds after catching the pass. So that's really good. Put back boss is another good one. Obviously, someone that leads the league in rebounds, you're getting a lot of offensive rebounds and being put back up, right? You don't need fancy footwork, silly finish, and all that, because again, all you're doing is setting screens, rolling to the basket. Now, it's your build. You can do it any way you want to. So of course, if you wanted to add something differently, go right on ahead, right? For as far as your shooting badges, the best bet for me would just to be going with Hot Zone Hunter. Just so you can, if you ever got any type of attempts or shots, dunks or anything in the basket, you're in the high zone area, you'll get a boost to that, all right? Of course, here what we're doing is we're going with Post Skin Technician and we're going with Break Starter. You do have 6 badges here that you can pick from. If you wanted to add something differently, the only things I can really think of would probably be the Dream Shake, which Dream Shake I've been trying and I get sometimes and sometimes I don't, but it says post moves fakes have a higher chance of stunning defender, but this is the big part. Also, shot attempts following post moves and shot fakes have an increase in shot percentage. So it says shot attempts following post moves and shot fakes have an increased shot percentage. So if you were literally just backing, someone down and you did a post spin, then did a head fake, and it went up, you're going to get a boost to that. Because from what I read, it says shot attempts following post moves and shot fakes. So it's not saying or shot fakes. So you do have to do a post move along with a fake and then shoot, and you'll get a boost to that also. So I think that's pretty cool. But it says have a higher chance of stunning defender. I don't know what type of stun you're going to get from doing a post fake, but again, a lot of people don't use it. I had tried using it on my center build and I haven't seen it pop up much. So I guess the jury's still out on that. Here, of course, you want to get your brick wall in Hall of Fame. You need to have your rebound chaser in the Hall of Fame. That's very important. You want to get the box just for the actual animation, right? You want to get your intimidator on Hall of Fame. You want to get your rim protector on silver just for the animation. You want to get chase down on silver just for the animation. Obviously you want to get pogo stick on silver just for the animation. You want to get your worm on silver again for the animation. This is just for 3s, okay? We're doing this for 3s. And the last one we want to do is get your interceptor. Now you can also go clamps if you wanted to. You can take your interceptor off to get if you wanted to get your clamps on silver and drop maybe something else. But to me, interceptor has been doing really well since patch 9. I've been seeing a massive difference, so I've actually enjoyed going with interceptor on silver now. But again, like I say, it's your build. You can make it any way you want to, but to me, I feel like this will be a good badge lineup for Wilt Chamberlain. Pogo stick, very athletic, being able to do second jumps. Obviously, you want to get your chase downs. Brick wall, intimidator, and rebound chaser are just must-haves as a center, so you gotta have those on Hall of Fame. Box is just for the animation, of course. Chase downs for the animation, rim protectors for the animation, and worm also is for the animation. So you gotta get them on silver. Whereas you can get box out on bronze, and it's pretty effective with just the box out on bronze because you're already strong, right? So there you have it, my nephews and nieces. This is the Wilt Chamberlain build. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what you need to do. Please go ahead and drop that like. We literally just hit 15,000 subs yesterday, so now we're making a good push to go ahead and try to get 16,000 by the end of next week. I know I'm gonna speak that into existence. That is gonna happen. So let's go ahead and make it happen. All right. But other than that, this is your man, Uncle Demi. I'll be back really soon with another banger. And when I say I'll be back soon with another banger, y'all know what day I'm talking about, man. I'm talking about tomorrow. I'm out.
Try to drag my name in dirty, try to